Hello there, darling. Yes, wake up. I know you're still alive, so let me get a look at you. No, don't look at the bodies. You don't want to see those right now. Oh, calm down and look at me. Come on. I need to see your eyes. Still human, though they could only be temporary. Damn it. What were you doing here anyways? Well, you're human, in a vampire's nest, surrounded by vampire spawn. I feel like it's an appropriate question. Oh, you don't have to worry about the vampires anymore, believe me. They're all gone. I took care of them, and they won't be harming a pretty little hair on your head. Don't worry. Well, a victim. Well, that would explain the amount of blood. Yes, I've noticed you're bleeding, believe me. I'm trying very hard not to. Why don't you help me out in that area? Distract me. Tell me how you got here, and depending on your story, I'll let you go. Oh, I know you do not belong here. From the way you're panicking, I don't think this is where you were expecting to wake up. Let me guess, you're out on a date, perhaps with some suave, captivating person. Maybe getting a few drinks, or hell, maybe you were on a date. Maybe you're at a bar. Then someone came along, someone seductive, that you just couldn't take your eyes off. They started talking to you, brought you along. You probably thought you were going to have a bit of fun. But it didn't turn out that way, did it? What, did they lead you to this building? Or did you just wake up here? Ignored all the warning signs then? You should probably be more careful in the future. You're likely to get killed that way. I bet you looked surprised when your partner introduced you to their friends. If I know vampires, they'd have started tearing you up, ripping you apart like takeout. No way they wouldn't have started cutting you and feeding on you as soon as you entered the premises. Just like all the other dead folks you're lying on top of. Oh, believe me, darling, they are indeed dead. Not a single one of their hearts is still beating. Which naturally begs the question, why is yours? Maybe I got here just in the nick of time, certainly a possibility, but vampire wounds aren't like regular wounds. Any hunter will tell you that they're particularly lethal, and it's very unlikely someone such as yourself would survive even the mildest of injuries by them. It's not an insult by any means. In my centuries of hunting these creatures, I've found less than a handful of people that actually survived their feedings. At least without turning. I doubt that could be considered surviving, though. Yes, I said centuries. But I'm the one asking the questions here, and not you. There's something about you. Something I can't quite put my finger on. Of course, you're covered in bruises, cuts, scrapes. I noticed that. It's quite hard not to. By all rights, you should be dead or turned, in which case, I'd have finished you off, but you're not. You're still alive. Your heart is still beating normally. And besides your panic at the scene when you woke up, you're otherwise fine. No worse for wear. A bit of a cleanup, and you'll be as good as new. Right as rain. So how the hell does that work? What is it about you that I'm sensing? This strange power coming from you. Is there something that you're not telling me, perhaps? Or maybe you're just unaware, ignorant of what you are. Let's test that. Do you have any idea what I'm talking about? No, Your heart's still beating normally, so you're not lying. Yes, I can hear your heartbeat. I'd be able to hear the others in the room as well if they were still alive. That's how I knew you were telling the truth when you said you were just a victim of these creatures. How I knew I didn't have to kill you. I'm not joking about that either. I'm still waiting for you to turn. In fact, I'm expecting it. The second I see a flash of red in your eyes or a fang, you're dead. Incinerated to ash, lost to the books of history. Oh, it would seem my dear's finally noticed. Yes. In fact, I am a vampire. My eyes are red too, after all. Because that is what I am. That's how I wound up in this delightful little den of evil. I'd heard of this group abducting people and deciding to put a stop to it. It's just instinct at this point, something I have to do. Once, very long ago, I was a human. A pitiful human. A vampire hunter. Part of a larger group, a team, if you will. We did what I do now. Stalk the streets, fighting creatures of the night and protecting the innocent, but we were just human. Fighting the undead, fighting the impossible. Sure, we had our close calls, our tough scrapes, but I wouldn't have traded that life for anything. Until it ended. We made the mistake of tracking down a vampire elder, a true vampire. Not a spawn. Not some lonely thrall. A vampire elder. That was passing through a town, some kind of vampire priest, an ancient being that fed on thousands and lived for centuries. Very powerful creature. Almost godlike. There's something about the blood they feed on, and it makes them stronger, and if they eat enough, their powers increase. Most hunters have never even seen one in their lifetime. There was no way they could pass up the opportunity to kill one. I was the one who planned it out. So it was my plan that got them killed. We called in every favor we have, calculated the elder's travel route, and scheduled it to the exact second. And that bastard still tore through us like we were nothing. 6 experienced vampire hunters slain in the blink of an eye. And the only one that left was me. Though I guess in a way I never really survived. There's only 2 things I remember from that night: the screams of my friends being ripped apart and the feeling of those fangs staring into my neck. I'm still not sure what happened, how I escaped, but I remember waking up, passed out, bloody. I clawed my way out of my own grave, and when sunlight and dawn broke, I remember burning in the sun. I still have the scars. It felt awful. Another second and I would have undoubtedly been turned to dust. I knew right away what I was, what had become of me, what had been done to me. I could feel it in my throat, in my very soul, the thirst, the desire for human blood, but I couldn't do it. Couldn't feed upon the innocents like the monsters that had turned me. I knew that I had become the thing I had sworn to destroy, and that I was betraying everything I'd stood for. just by existing in that moment. Part of me wanted to step into the sun, to let the rays of light shine down upon me and send me back to them, to my friends. But I couldn't. I was too much of a coward. I was afraid. And there was that pathetic little thought that said, what if I go to hell because I'm a vampire? I see now I was a coward. I didn't want to risk it, not without atoning in some way for what I'd done. And here I am now, 3 centuries later, trying to make up for that cowardice by continuing my duty, by killing creatures of the night, even though I am one. I've never fed on anyone, even though the thirst in my thought, in my very throat, still remains. When I get desperate, I drink animal blood. Though it tastes disgusting, I don't actually believe we're supposed to drink it. But I find it better than the alternative. Some of the people I work for have managed to conjure up some sort of synthetic blood. It's not real, and it doesn't help much, really. But you know, if I'm over desperate, it helps. I still have no idea how I am, what I am, how I resisted the Elder's powers and remained myself, but I'm still here somehow. Still me, still fighting, though I don't dare go up against the Elder. The creature's far too powerful. Besides, I've heard nothing about them in all this time. They just disappeared. I've spent my time since then just doing what I can, fighting the dredges of the night of vampire society. The ones that lurk into victims and feed onto them. The ones that turn into monsters once their fangs meet skin. I know it's not enough to make up for what I've done, for what happened, for what I am. But maybe someday it will be. But if I could just kill that Elder that killed my friends, I know I'd feel better. It'd be enough to finally remove the guilt I feel. I'm sorry for telling you this, for providing you with so much information, but I'm trying to sway you to my cause, you see. Trying to make you sympathetic, I suppose. So that you'll come with me. Your blood, whatever you are, it could be a vital weapon against the vampires. I'm not sure exactly how it works or how it could work, but there are people I work with, other hunters that can study you and figure out how exactly we can use you. How we can use your blood. And it doesn't matter. No, nothing matters, I suppose, except for the mission, but stand up. Come on, we're leaving. I'm getting you out of here, and you're going to help us beat these monsters. For the first time, we have something new in our arsenal. Something that gives us the slightest glimmer of hope. I'll be damned if we don't take it. My dear, you don't get a choice. I'm sorry, but you could be the thing that helps us win this bloody war. That ends centuries of fighting, and finally lets us beat these monsters. I've seen far too many friends die to risk losing this thing just because you don't want to. I am sorry about this, my dear. But you're coming with me. Hello everybody, darlings. If you like this, make sure to comment, like, subscribe. Oh, please do that for me, won't you? Just keep in mind this Saturday and Sunday I will not be streaming, as I will be hanging out with my nephew and my sister and such. Anyways, I hope you have an amazing day. Check out my Patreon if you want something spicy, delicious even. Make sure to go check out my, what do they call it? Oh yes, check out my merch. My merchandise is so amazing. You should have to buy a hoodie. I heard they're very comfortable and I can attest to that. Remember, the more support I get from you guys, the more cool stuff we can add to this channel. I'm thinking maybe a body pillow one day. Either way, I love you guys. And I want to give a big shout out to our loyal tier 3 Patreon subscribers. Thank you to Forbidden Desires, Hybrid Sisters, Sweethyjinx, Unsupervised Cat, Star Espersen, ace.cries, and Castiel. I love every single one of you, and I wish every single one of you the best. Have an amazing day, everybody. Good night, darling.